and in the National Capital Region. The AQI today was over 400 in most places, which is severe category. It's hazardous for your health. And the Delhi government has imposed GRAP 4, which means that schools will be in hybrid mode. There will be less than any BS4 cars will not be allowed inside the National Capital Region. Government offices will be on, again, work from home. Private offices are advised 50% work from home, 50% work from office. But here's the thing. This whole system of measuring AQI and then responding to the AQI, this whole GRAP system, is a post-facto system. It kicks into action only after the air quality has dipped and dipped so badly as we are seeing today in Delhi. It'll be in place for a few days, and then once the air gets slightly better, we'll be back to square one, going back to our old polluting ways. The question is, instead of having a reactive approach, who is going to take a proactive approach in tackling Delhi's pollution problem? Even the parliament, now in the very fag end, it was for 3 weeks, this is the third and final week of the winter session. In the very fag end of the winter session, they've decided to take up the pollution debate. Why? Why is pollution not the number one priority issue, even for our parliamentarians, even for those who have to come to Delhi to attend parliament, even if it's just a few times a year? This should be the number one issue. This should be the issue that everybody is riveted and talking about, but unfortunately, that is not the case. I want to play out a short sort of walkthrough that my colleague Shrishti did from different parts, landmark areas in the national capital, and you just get to see how bad the situation was. In fact, there was 0 departures from the Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi till about 10 a.m. this morning.
It's a chilly morning here in the national capital this Monday. As you can see behind me, the extent of the fog, in this case, smog, has really enveloped the entire national capital region. Now we are here at the Akshardham flyover where we can see that the visibility has really come down. Now according to the India Meteorological Department, the visibility has gone down to 50 meters both at Palam as well as Safdarjung. Now if you remember, over the last 3 days, the air quality in the national capital has really plummeted. Now on 13th December, it crossed the 400 mark. Now AQI index anywhere between 400 to 450 falls into the severe category. But yesterday, it also crossed the 450 mark of severe plus. Now, according to the Central Pollution Control Board, the daily AQI index for Delhi was recorded at 466, which falls into the severe plus category. It was equally worse in Noida, where it was 468. Now, the residents of Delhi are definitely breathing extremely toxic air, which is high in particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM 10. There are toxic gases here, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxides, and other particulate matter, which is making it difficult to breathe.
So what does it actually mean in real terms when the air quality index crosses 100? That is the equivalent of having 2 cigarettes a day. Even if you're a non-smoker, it is actually having the effect that you're smoking 2 cigarettes a day. If the AQI is above 200, then your lungs basically take a hit of 7 cigarettes a day. It's almost like smoking a pack of cigarettes an entire day if the AQI is above 200. If it is above 400, it's literally like smoking 2 full packets and a little more of cigarettes, 23 cigarettes per day. That's the impact that it has on your lungs. In fact, over the last few days, the impact of the AQI above 400, that's what it's been in the national capital over these last few days, as a result of which GRAP 4 has been instituted. If it's above 650, it's like smoking 34 cigarettes or 3 packets a day. And if it's above 850, then it's literally like killing yourself. It is 4 packets of cigarettes, 43 cigarettes a day. You don't really need to smoke to destroy your lungs in Delhi this season. Just breathing this toxic air is bad enough. So it's a grey skyline. The traffic was barely visible. In fact, like I said, the airport was completely jammed out. Not a single flight took off till about 10 a.m. or so. Even the Prime Minister's takeoff had to be delayed by an hour because of the bad fog and smog. But could this have been avoided? Now, right now, Delhi is under GRAP 4. I'll get to what GRAP 4 means in 1 second, but clearly, they could have better prepared for this. GRAP stages 1 and 2 could have been identified earlier and these measures could have come into place much earlier. Action was needed when the air turned poor, which is above 150, and when it turned very poor, which was above 250, not after it became a health emergency when it crossed 400, and therefore GRAP 4 had to be instituted. Construction dust, that is the single biggest reason for why Delhi is so polluted. Construction happens throughout the year. Construction dust was left unchecked. Strict monitoring is required at every site, which in fact should be the norm. If you go abroad to Dubai or Bangkok or any of these places where there is large-scale construction, every single building is mandated to be watered twice in the day, and also they should have these nettings which cover the entire construction so that dust does not accumulate outside the construction premises. Round-the-clock dust control should also have been mandatory, not an optional service. There should have been zero tolerance to open waste burning. Even today, in large parts of the national capital, there is open burning of waste that happens. Heavy penalties should be instituted across the entire NCR, but that is somehow never implemented on the ground. Smog towers and sprinklers, they are a last-minute fix. They're really not going to solve this problem once the AQI crosses 400. They should have been ready, they should have been deployed much before the pollution problem peaked. And yet, despite all of this, all that we get from our politicians, who, by the way, many of whom have to turn up in parliament in the middle of this toxic air, all that we get from our politicians is tooting their horn, and when times get tough, they resort to the same routine blame game. Let's listen in to some of these folks, and then we'll open this up to our panelists as well.
In 2019, I had moved a one nation and I had led the discussion in the Lok Sabha. Nothing has changed between 2019 and 2025. Pollution is worse. I have a 193 on pollution in this session also. So therefore, under those circumstances, this is the most critical thing Parliament should be discussing.
देखिए, हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली बदहाल स्थिति में कैसे पहुंची। पिछले 10 सालों में अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार दिल्ली में रही, लेकिन पोल्यूशन पर एक भी कदम अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार ने उठाया नहीं। जब से हमारी सरकार दिल्ली में बनी है, सरकार लगातार पोल्यूशन को कम करने के लिए काम कर रही है, चाहे वो सांसद हो, चाहे वो विधायक हो या स्वयं मुख्यमंत्री हो। सड़क पर आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं। हम दिल्ली के लोगों को स्वच्छ हवा देंगे, लेकिन क्योंकि 10 साल में इतना बदहाली हो गई है, उसको ठीक करने में थोड़ा समय जरूर लगेगा।
All right, it was so bad that Argentinian football legend Lionel Messi, who in fact came to Delhi, it was the last of his 4-city tour to India. He ended his GOAT tour in the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi earlier this afternoon. A video of that presence of Messi there in that stadium is going viral. This has been circulated by the Aam Aadmi Party, was shot by one of the fans. It basically shows the fans who are shouting AQI from the stands the minute the Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta entered the stadium to felicitate Messi. They're shouting AQI, you can hear it, you can play the nat up, and that's what they are shouting. The Delhi Chief Minister has a lot to answer for. She was there at the Messi event. She was there at the BJP party headquarters earlier today to welcome the new national president, the national working president of the BJP, Mr. Netanyahu-Albanese. Clearly, those seems to be the priority areas for her as opposed to fixing the national capital's air. Let me go across to our guests who are joining us. Neoma Gupta is spokesperson of the Delhi BJP, Somnath Bharti, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Ma'am, this has been a constant problem. When the Aam Aadmi Party was in power, you were telling the people of Delhi that, look, when we come to power, we'll fix it. We'll get the state governments of the other neighboring states to cooperate, etc. The Aam Aadmi Party is the culprit. Nobody wants to work with them, etc., etc. Now you're in power. You've been in power. It's going to be close to a year now in February. You're not able to fix this problem either, Neoma Gupta, just like the Aam Aadmi Party didn't do anything for the last 10 years.
Good evening, Mr. Jacob. See, Delhi AQI today shot up, and this is a cause of concern not for only the citizens, for government, for everyone. And on this, there's no divided opinion. And good air is most certainly the responsibility of the government, and we are doing everything to improve it. However, one or two things in today's circumstances, it's not due to the government inaction or negligence. Sometimes there are some factors which are beyond one's control. 2 days ago, the IMD issued an alert for a western disturbance which was persisting over northern Pakistan. As a result of it, there was a sharp reduction in the wind speeds, which caused this problem. Having said that, since we've come into power, we are relentlessly working towards improving the AQI and making it a non debatable topic. In fact, a few days ago only, on the 12th, the CAQM deployed like more than 19 teams for road inspection drive. Following, there was geotagging, time stamp photographs of roads were collected on roads which we still have some dust built up, which has been a problem over the past 10 years, which was never, taken care of. These inspections and cleanliness kind of reduce a significant problem of pollution. Having said that, you were mentioning also, construction, demolition activities have been completely banned, including in terms of highways, roads, flyovers. And mostly, if you see, 96% of the industries have been shifted to approved fuels when it comes to CAQM. So, steps which are scientific in nature are being done. However, things cannot
No,
overturn
but
in a
ma'am,
matter
tell
of a
me,
year.
why then,
Yeah.
see, all of these steps that you outlined
Right.
have come into effect after GRAP 4 went into effect, which was from, I think, Friday last, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's incorrect. These steps have been. Sorry.
What have you done before that? Construction
have-
continued even until when GRAP 3 was in place.
No, so since we've come into power, in numerous water sprinklers, when it comes to construction verifications, when it comes to PNG infrastructure, which is now available in over 224, multiple steps, even like something like a capacity of increasing our legacy waste processing, like about 7,000 tons per day has been added. That couldn't have happened over the weekend. It happens over a period of time. And not only that, concurrently working with Haryana, UP, Rajasthan, in terms of small steps like heavy diesel trucks barred from entering the state. Okay,
No, but the
nighttime
heavy
checks.
diesel trucks are barred only after GRAP 4 has come into effect, not before that.
It's been happening over a period
No,
of time. Even
that
like
is not true.
nighttime checks.
That is not
No,
true.
that is true.
I'm happy to take you at 11 p.m. to the Delhi borders. You take any border, Haryana border, UP border.
Yeah, I'm happy
the
to
trucks
go
are
with you, and
coming.
this
The
is from
trucks are
UP.
coming dime a dozen. Nobody is
I'm
stopping them.
happy to go with you. And in fact, nighttime checks have been ordered for even like open burning of dry waste. In fact, you made a statement when you were opening your debate
Correct.
about solid fuel, which is being used and which is being burned. We've even kept a penalty on that. In fact, today, even these tandoors and all have been shut, which are also significantly contributing to
Ma'am,
pollution.
you keep saying we've done this, we've done that. None of the result of that is visible to Delhi air. It certainly is
Yes,
not
with
showing
all
in the
due
air.
respect, because as I told you,
let me
we are
ask
carrying a
Somnath-
legacy of problems, and it
let
doesn't
me ask
happen with a
Somnath
magic
Bharti.
wand.
Legacy of problems, so for 75 years we've been fighting a legacy only. Somnath Bharti,
No,
the
I'm
point
sorry,
is
you
this.
cannot belittle
No,
it
the
like
point is this. The point is, Somnath Bharti, when you were in power for 10 years. For the first 5 years, you said, oh, let's come to power in Punjab, we'll stop the stubble burning, we'll stop the stubble burning. You came to power in Punjab a few years ago in 2022. Despite that, nothing changed. The farmers continue to burn stubble. Delhi was just as polluted. Now the BJP came to power saying, we'll fix this problem. The other neighboring state governments, UP, Rajasthan, Haryana, etc., our governments will get them to stop. They came to power. They're also not able to fix this problem. Are we, the people of Delhi, Delhiites, now just having to accept this as fait accompli? This is our fate. We have to live with it now. Mr. Bharti.
Jaka, good evening to you and to your audience. See, I was listening very patiently, my friend from BJP, that Aam Aadmi Party has done nothing. In fact, you also started saying what we have done in Punjab. If you look at the reports, the newspaper reports and the government reports, both stated very clearly that year after year, stubble burning in Punjab is coming down, and it is down this year by 95%. When you compare it to the previous years, 95%. Number two, see, Delhi AQI is 500, Beijing is 80 to 120, I was just reading on the website. Lahore is 200 to 300, London is 20 to 30, Tokyo is 15 to 25. So, we want to be number one, even in pollution. We had chosen a government, today BJP is so empowered. At center is BJP, MCD is BJP, state is BJP, UP is BJP, Haryana is BJP. Still, pollution we are number one. They can't. And what are they accusing? Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal had done too many things. Electric vehicle policy, we had brought it out. We had closed down thermal plants. We were out with odd even scheme. We had phased out old vehicles, polluting vehicles. A massive expansion.
Sir, you came up with the smog towers. None of those smog towers are working.
Deployed.
It was not working when you were in power. It's not working now when the BJP is in power.
Jaka, the way you started, you sounded biased because see, I don't want you to, somebody a caliber of yours.
My bias will go up in the smog, sir.
Just a moment.
अब देखिए ना, इतना smog pollution है. My bias will burn up in the smog.
Jaka साहब,
बताइए बताइए.
एक सेकंड मुझे जैसे आपने अनइंटरप्टेड उनको समय दिया मुझे दे दीजिए.
बताइए.
हमने कभी रोका तो नहीं, कभी डिस्टर्ब नहीं किया. ठीक है. देखिए, आज पूरा पार्लियामेंट क्या डिस्कस कर रहा था भाई. मोदी जी को कांग्रेस ने कहा भाई मोदी कब्र में जाएंगे. ठीक है. और इस पे सारा पूरा पार्लियामेंट ठप पड़ा हुआ है. पूरी बीजेपी आउट है. बीजेपी को ये चिंता नहीं है कि मोदी तो कब्र में जाएंगे ही नहीं, क्योंकि वो तो नॉन बायोलॉजिकल हैं. लेकिन हम कब्र में चले जाएंगे, दिल्ली वाले. हम सारे कब्र में जाएंगे, दिल्ली वाले. ये चाहते हो? सर में कहीं है? मुसीबत क्या है? इनको नॉन इश्यूज पे डिबेट करना है. पूरे पार्लियामेंट के उन्होंने अखाड़ा बना रखा है. जैसे भाजपा कुछ गिरने लगती है तो कांग्रेस फटाफट आ जाएगी.
भाती साहब ये भी बताइए ना, आपके भी है 4 एमपीज राज्यसभा में, वो क्या कर रहे थे? उन्होंने मूव किया क्या प्रिविलेज मोशन या प्राइवेट मोशन की? दिस हैज टू अडजर्नमेंट मोशन मूव किया उन्होंने.
भाजपा को घुटने पर खड़ा कर दिया है.
नहीं, tell me, you have 4 MPs in the Rajya Sabha. Did they move a privilege motion saying this should be discussed?
Look at the Sanjay Singh's debates. Look at the Sanjay Singh's, responses to the questions. I mean, Jaka, you need to ask questions, please, my dear friend. See, today, all engines are of BJP. Still, they are not doing anything.
Okay, let me ask one pertinent question. No, once again, Niyama Gupta. Once again, Niyama Gupta.
They don't even know.
So for the last 10 years, the Central Pollution Control Board, the CPCB, has been collecting something called an Environmental Pollution Charge, EPC. So in the last 10 years, they have collected 427 crores. As of March 2025, only 130 out of those 427 crores were utilized. About barely a fourth of that money was used. For the last 10 years, environmental cess is being collected. From 2016, environmental cess is being collected. Total amount that's been collected of environmental cess is 45.8 crores, of which only 9 lakh rupees, less than 1%, madam, has been spent. Why is all this being collected if no action is going to be taken on pollution, if these funds are going to remain unutilized?
Okay, so when I started on your debate, I was mentioning innumerable steps which are being taken as we speak, when it, on a multiplicity of footing, when it comes to increasing the number of water sprinklers, increasing everything in terms of sanitation. All over, work is being done. Yes, I agree, today there's been a spike which happened because of weather conditions. So I'm not even blaming the Aam Aadmi Party for today. However, the theatrics of my opponent have begged me to ask certain questions, which I'll come back to again. Just to tell you in a nutshell, we have been working and the results started to, actually come before the latest spike of today. The data to prove this was the average AQI in Delhi for the period between 1st January and 9th November was approximately 175. This was 189 during the corresponding period of the last year. The PM 2.5 and PM 10 concentration was about 70 micrograms, and it went up to 170. All throughout the previous years, it was 195, showing some sort of, it was coming down. Having said that, the steps continue to go from our side.
No, but ma'am, can you please explain why these funds are remaining unutilized? These funds are being charged from the taxpayer of India. Why is this being unutilized or underutilized?
If the funds were not being utilized, how would we improve the system of dust suppression? Water sprinklers. I mean, you see the ground reality. Over 18,000 potholes have been repaired. 2,650 of the roadsides have been paved. I mean, steps are being taken. So to say that nothing is happening, etc., is not something
So,
which is going to
what
fly
explains why only 1% of environmental cess collected in the last 10 years has been used? What explains that? Clearly, pollution is not a priority, right? That's why.
No, that is your assessment of the situation.
Okay,
but it will
give
be
me a
used
reason
over
why
a
it's
period
not
of
spent.
time. We've only been in power for a short period of time. Allow us to go through the whole process because
No, I'm
our
talking about
intention is
central
very
government.
clear.
Central Pollution Control Board has collected
It's deployed to different
427
states.
crores.
Okay, it's deployed to different states. For example, in situ crop exchange, all that requires dispersal of funds, which happens over a period of time. Okay, so funds are being used, and then when it
Ma'am,
comes to my
I'll tell you
opponent,
whether Mr. Bharti's
not
party is in
listening.
power or whether your party is in power. I'll tell you why this is not a priority, viewers. This is not a priority. It's not going to be a priority for any political party in Delhi because they have taken the middle class for granted. Middle class will anyway either not vote, or even if they vote, they're so minuscule it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the people who vote are the ones who get guarantees, right? 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees. That's all the politicians care about. So even if they have to, live through the smog season in Delhi, come to winter session of parliament, it's a hafte 10 din ka problem. It's a week, 10 days, 2 weeks at best. Then they can forget about it. There is no political cost, no political downside.
Jaka, would you permit
That's
me to
why
rebut?
politicians get away with it, ladies and gentlemen. Somnath Bharti can disagree with me. His party was in power in Delhi for 10 years. If tomorrow somebody comes out and says, we will vote out political parties if they don't fix the pollution problem. If Delhiites, all 1.5, 1.6 crore of them come out and say, fix this issue, otherwise we will not give you our vote, people will fix it. Politicians will fix it. Because there's no political downside, no political cost. That's why politicians don't care about this issue. It's as I said, a weekly, fortnightly, maybe a 1 month problem, after which they'll all forget about it. People will also forget about it. Somnath Bharti, final word. I got to wrap up after that, please.
See, the problem is not that. See, when pollution is a central issue, remember that. So at our time, we had no cooperation whatsoever from the center in any manner. And look at the moment they have BJP everywhere, still they are not able to do it because they don't have the niyat. Look at the way water sprinklers were used on the aqua monitoring stations admitted by the Chief Minister. And Chief Minister is saying that AQI and temperature, I mean, what the hell is going on? She does not know what is the problem. How to distinguish AQI from the temperature.
Okay.
Even, and the solution came what?
Mr. Jacob,
the
may I?
meter readings, can't go international. It has to be Indianized. So they will control on that as well. The problem, they use cloud seeding. What happened? They spent 10 crores of the people's money and nothing happened. And Lancet has said 17 lakhs people are dying every year because of pollution. Government says there is no data to ascertain that. So problem is, unless you admit, Jaka, that there is a problem called pollution which is killing people. If you don't admit, there is no solution at all. Today, all the power is resting and vesting with BJP, center, state, MCD, UP, Haryana, and they can't fix it because they don't have the niyat.
Okay.
They will never fix it.
I got to wrap up. Thank you to both Somnath Bharti and Nyoma Gupta. Like I said, I think it boils down to no political downside as far as this issue is concerned, because if the people of Delhi are willing to come out and say we will not give votes to those parties or those individuals, those politicians who are not able to fix this problem, then this problem will be fixed. But Delhiites won't say that, and there is no political downside to a politician. AQI is a seasonal problem. It will come, it will go. Let's move on from the north to the far south, where in the 2025 Kerala local body elections have been a defining moment in the state's political landscape. It's marked by the Congress-led UDF winning decisively overall in a large number of municipalities. But also there was a noteworthy breakthrough for the BJP-led NDA in the key Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation, the capital of the state. While the UDF dominated most rural and semi-urban local bodies, it also won a majority of the Gram Panchayats, the Block Panchayats and multiple municipal corporations, including some big ones like Calicut, Kannur, Ernakulam, etc. The big headline, of course, was the BJP making a historic gain in the Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation. It's the first time that the party has been voted to power in the Municipal Corporation of Thiruvananthapuram, the state capital. Despite this big win, though, in the state's capital, the BJP's gains otherwise outside of Thiruvananthapuram have remained limited. Beyond these few urban pockets, the party did not secure significant numbers in district panchayats or other rural areas. And it basically underlines that the BJP's footprint in God's own country is concentrated and it's comparatively small relative to the two main fronts, which is the UDF and the LDF. This performance, both of the Congress-led UDF and the BJP, is bad news for the ruling LDF and the incumbent Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, because in 3 months' time, the state goes to assembly elections and it'll be a Herculean task for the CPM to come back from this electoral rout, and that too in such quick time. Now, the BJP-led NDA won 50 wards out of 101 in the state's capital, Thiruvananthapuram. The LDF won 29. Remember, the Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation has been held by the LDF for a number of terms now, and the UDF came a distant third at 19. This is the first time that the BJP is breaking through. Last 2 terms, they were the single largest opposition, but they had to sit in opposition for 5 years. For the first time now, they have crossed that threshold and won this municipal corporation. 2 wards were also won by independent candidates. In fact, Prime Minister Modi called it a watershed moment in Kerala's politics. He added that people are certain that the development aspirations of the state can only be addressed by the BJP.
Winning the Thiruvananthapuram Corporation is a major boost for the BJP ahead of the 2026 Assembly elections. In the last 2 terms, BJP has been in the opposition in the corporation, and this time they have finally won the corporation by becoming the single largest party. Now, this was also the first elections, whether it's a local body or any other elections in the state, after Rajiv Chandrasekhar took over as a state BJP president. So this was also a test for the new leadership in which they have succeeded. Now, 50 seats is what the BJP has won in the 101 member Thiruvananthapuram Corporation. In 2020 also, the BJP had high hopes that they will be able to come to power, but this time they have finally managed to come to power. But across the state, if you look at the local body election results, it's a major boost for the Congress-led UDF. They have won many municipalities, gram panchayats, block panchayats, and even corporations. Last time, the LDF won 5 out of 6 corporations. Only in 1 corporation the UDF was ruling, but this time that is not the case. UDF has at least 3 corporations and 1 each for LDF and the BJP-led NDA.
I want to go across to Mr. V. Muralidharan, his former MOSMEA, former president, state president of the Kerala BJP. Thank you very much, Mr. Muralidharan, for speaking with us. First of all, congratulations for winning the Trivandrum Municipal Corporation election. It's the first time that the BJP has won there. What is it that you presented to the people of Trivandrum, which now they have supported and given you a chance at ruling the municipal corporation of the state capital?
See, Trivandrum has had a left-ruled dispensation for the last 45 years. And if you compare the state capital of Kerala, that is Trivandrum, with other state capitals, including the newly formed state of Andhra, which has its capital of Amravati, the development in Trivandrum is practically nil, or I can say it very slow-paced. Everything gets postponed. Everything is made an option and an occasion for making money or commission. So the large-scale corruption in the state, in the corporation administration, including the state government, as well as the lack of development in Trivandrum. These are the 2 things that mainly we presented. And on the other hand, we have the time-bound development implemented by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, which includes the railway development, the roadways development, all these things in Trivandrum itself. Second, the basic amenities like roads, drinking water, street lights, sanitation, waste management, and street dogs. These things the municipal administration has not been, or the corporation administration has not been able to manage. So we said that we have done it wherever BJP is in power. We have done it in a much better way. So give us a chance, we will do it.
Sir, while you won the Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation, the UDF has been responding saying that they got 4 municipal corporations, including Ernakulam, which is the biggest city, the commercial capital, and other big cities, Calicut, Kannur, Thrissur, etc. The BJP has only got 1. The LDF too has responded by saying that there is some kind of secret understanding between the Congress and the BJP. How would you respond to that?
There is, see, what happens in any such cases is when there is an anti-incumbency, against the present dispensation. Those who are the next best, the main opposition gets the opportunity. In that case, in Trivandrum, we are the main opposition for the last 2 terms. We have been getting 35 seats. The Congress is nowhere in the picture. So naturally in Trivandrum, we got the better, the people believed us. But if I take other corporations, of course, the UDF came to the power in many corporations, other corporations. But the number of seats where BJP contested and we could increase upon our tally, whether it is Calicut or in Kollam, that is also an achievement that BJP has made. And in Kerala, for the last, I can say 50, 60 years, there has been in every election, every alternate election, there has been a change of government, change of dispensation.
Yeah.
But now, discarding both these fronts, people have chosen a third force, that is BJP. So it means that people now have started looking at options which are which they have hitherto not tried. Till now they were trying one or the other. Okay. Now they have discarded both and then have come to a third option. So this is the beginning. This is the change that is happening in Kerala.
Okay, Mr. V. Muralidharan, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, former state BJP chief and former MOS in the Ministry of External Affairs. Thanks for joining us. I want to move on now from the regional to the national, and the BJP's newly appointed National Working President, Nitin Nabin, arrived at the party headquarters earlier this evening, where he was given a grand welcome by the party leaders, including Home Minister Amit Shah and former party president JP Nadda. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi congratulated Mr. Nitin Nabin on his elevation, describing him as a dedicated worker who has established a distinct identity within the party. Now, he also expressed confidence that Mr. Nabin's energy and commitment will further strengthen the party. Mr. Nabin is a 5-term MLA from Bihar. He belongs to the Kayasth community. He is likely to succeed the incumbent BJP chief JP Nadda post the 14th of January once the formal elections are declared in the BJP. The organizational reshuffle comes at a time when the party is transitioning its top leadership structure. Incumbent BJP National President JP Nadda, who was appointed to the post in January 2020, has already completed his original term. He was granted multiple extensions to steer the party through crucial political milestones, including the 2024 Lok Sabha election and thereafter state elections. If Mr. Nabin takes over as the party's national chief next year, which is now a notional matter, a nominal matter, he will be the youngest BJP president in the history of the party. It breaks the record of Nitin Gadkari, who took over at the age of 52.
Bharatiya Janata Party has appointed Nitin Nabin as their national working president. Remember, Nitin Nabin comes from Bihar and he's currently a state cabinet minister in Nitish Kumar's cabinet. He comes from the Kayasth community, a young leader, somebody who has risen through the ranks. He comes from the RSS. He worked in the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, and then onwards, he also worked in Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha in Bihar. He was the general secretary of the Morcha there. And then, of course, he contested the assembly election. Now, he is a 4-time member of Legislative Assembly, now a minister in the government in the state. he has now given responsibility to be the working president of Bharatiya Janata Party. Remember that the messaging behind this from the BJP is of course, opportunity to a young leader. He's a 45-year-old, and therefore with this appointment, party is sending out a message to every youth workers of the BJP that anyone can come up to the ranks if they have a potential, if they are hardworking.
So why Nitin Nabin? Up until yesterday, he was a relatively less known figure. Certainly people in Bihar knew him, but nationally people didn't really know him. So the choice of Nitin Nabin is a strategic one. He's 45 years old. He's a road construction minister in Bihar. He's a 5-term MLA from Bankipur in Patna. He basically has been contesting from the year when he turned 25 years old. He brings with him a youthful leadership, a younger leader offering energy and fresh direction. This is, make no mistake, a generational transfer as far as the BJP is concerned. He is young, he's got organizational experience, he's been long involved in the BJP, both at the national and the state level. He's had electoral success as well. Repeatedly, he's been elected from Bankipur seat in Patna, 5-term MLA from that particular seat. He's also a minister in the Bihar government. He's got key portfolios as well as administrative experience. The BJP's focus is also in influencing Eastern India ahead of the polls. Remember, Bengal goes to polls next year, Assam goes to polls next year. That angle is being looked at as well. He's known to be hardworking, disciplined. He's got deep roots both in the BJP and in the RSS. His leadership gets an endorsement from senior BJP leaders, and also the caste factor is at play as well. Mr. Nabin is a Kayasth by birth. He's now set to become the first BJP chief from Bihar and from Eastern India. It also keeps Bengal in mind, with a key voter base being targeted as the BJP looks to the next year's assembly elections in Bengal. But the Congress party has called this entire election a sham. They've said it's not an election, it's a selection, which is the culmination of a delayed and denied elections in the BJP. After all, Mr. Nabin has been elected unopposed. That's the word that we've gotten from the BJP. And the Congress has latched on to that, saying, where is internal party democracy in the BJP?
कांग्रेस में कार्यकर्ताओं की दिल की आवाज़ को सुना जाता है, और पिछले समय पर हमने एक चुनावी प्रक्रिया के द्वारा अब हमने अपने दल के सभापति को चुना। इस वक्त जो घोषणा भाजपा के द्वारा हुई है, वो ना कार्यकर्ताओं के दिल की बात जानने के बाद हुई है, ना किसी प्रकार से कोई औपचारिक प्रक्रिया के द्वारा हुई है। तो यही फ़र्क है कि कांग्रेस में लोकतंत्र जीवित है, भाजपा जहाँ पर कोई लोकतंत्र नहीं, जहाँ पर कोई संवाद नहीं, अपने गोपनीयता को वो ज़्यादा उसको चाहते हैं।
Shifting to some international news now, and at least 15 people were dead and more than 30 still in hospital fighting for their life after two gunmen, a father-son duo, opened fire at the popular Bondi beach in Sydney, Australia. The people on the beach were primarily Jewish and they were celebrating the traditional Hanukkah festival. The father-son duo, the attackers, have been identified as Sajid and Naveed Akram. While the father was killed by the cops in retaliatory fire, the son was neutralized by a brave man who fought him with his bare hands. But there's also a deeper politics that's at play here between the leaders of both countries, Australia and Israel. The Australian authorities say they have concluded that the attack on Sunday at the Bondi beach was carried out by a father-son duo. The Australian authorities have now formally called this an act of terrorism. But they declined to provide additional details, including the ideology of both the suspects or their exact motive or where they actually originally hailed from. Australian police said Monday that they expected to bring criminal charges against the lone surviving gunman in the deadly shooting spree at one of Australia's most popular beaches. There was a Hanukkah Jewish celebration that was going on at the time of the attack, and a majority of the victims happened to be Jewish Australians. At least 15 people have died and more than 30 remain hospitalized following the mass shooting. Hundreds of people had gathered at the Bondi beach for a Hanukkah event. Children were seen playing even as music in bubbles filled the air until the attackers emerged from a silver hatchback car very close to a pedestrian bridge and then randomly opened fire. Gunshots ripped through the Jewish celebration. Investigators did not release the names of the suspects but described them as a 50-year-old man and his 24-year-old son. The older man died after he was shot by the police. The younger man sustained critical injuries. He's in hospital. His condition is said to be critical but stable. But independent media reports have named the duo as Sajid and Naveed Akram, both residents of Sydney.
We have progressed at pace overnight with that investigation, and as a result of investigations undertaken, I can say that we are not looking for a further offender. We are satisfied that there were 2 offenders involved in yesterday's incident. One is deceased, the second is in critical but stable condition in hospital at the moment. The offenders are a 50-year-old and 24-year-old male who are father and son.
The father, Sajid Akram, who died, was an immigrant who came to Australia in 1998 on a student visa. He stayed on in the country for decades on different kinds of visas. It was unclear, though, which country he originally came from. The son, Naveed, is an Australian-born citizen who first came to the attention of the police in 2019. But neither Sajid nor Naveed were known to have any history of any previous criminal offence. The 50-year-old suspect, the father, Sajid, had a recreational hunting license. He was a member of a gun club, and that allowed him to possess a long-range weapon. There were 6 weapons registered in the name of the father, Sajid Akram. The police also said that they were not searching for any other attackers. 2 improvised explosive devices were also found at the scene, and they were disabled.
The son first came to attention in October 2019. He was examined on the basis of being associated with others, and the assessment was made that there was no indication of any ongoing threat or threat of him engaging in violence.
A video which went viral on social media shows a bystander sneaking up on one of the attackers from between 2 cars from behind the attacker and then tackling him down to the ground. He also managed to wrestle out a long gun from the hands of the attacker and then forced him to surrender. Chris Minns, who's the Premier of the state of New South Wales, called this man a genuine Australian hero. He's been identified as Ahmed Al-Ahmed, who is a fruit seller who was in the vicinity of the Bondi beach, and he single-handedly overpowered the younger attacker. Investigators have not released the names of the victims, but details have begun to emerge. Shabbat, which is the Jewish group that organized the event, has identified 3 of the victims, including a long-serving Arab community. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said that at least 1 Israeli national was killed and another injured, and President Emmanuel Macron of France has said that 1 French citizen was among those killed.
Quite clearly, the Howard government's gun laws have made an enormous difference in Australia and are a proud moment of reform, quite rightly, achieved across the Parliament with bipartisan support. If we need to toughen these up, if there's anything we can do, I'm certainly up for it, and I hope to get National Cabinet on board for that this afternoon as well.
Mass shootings are a very rare occurrence in Australia, which has enacted strict gun laws after a previous attack that killed 35 people. That last major attack happened in the 1990s, in which 30-plus people died, after which much stricter gun regulation was passed. But the attack at the popular Bondi beach has now brought out calls for stricter immigration as well as stricter gun laws in Australia. But this is also a political controversy between the leaders of Israel and Australia. Benjamin Netanyahu and Anthony Albanese have been at each other's throats over the last few months since Australia's move to recognize a separate, independent Palestinian state. Albanese's government formally moved to recognize a Palestinian state back in September. The logic and the justification was this was part of building international pressure towards a 2-state solution. Albanese at that time had accused Netanyahu's government of being in denial about the sufferings in Gaza. Netanyahu too has strongly criticized Albanese's decision to recognize Palestinian statehood. Netanyahu claimed that this would fuel anti-Semitism, and that's what's happened at the Bondi beach. He's linked the Bondi attack to the rising trend of anti-Semitic attacks seen across the world, from Europe to America to now Australia. He's also used extremely personal language, calling the Australian Prime Minister weak and accusing him of having his record forever tarnished. The disagreement between Albanese and Netanyahu is also part of a broader tension as to how to respond to the Israel-Gaza war, the humanitarian crisis that has unfolded in the wake of the war, and the best possible way to achieve a two-state solution. Earlier this year, Canada, France, and Australia became the first major Western countries, including Britain, to announce that they were formally recognizing a two-state solution and formally recognizing an independent Palestinian state. Albanese sees the formal recognition as progress towards peace. Netanyahu sees it as undermining negotiations and strengthening Israel's enemies. This latest attack is only going to exacerbate those tensions and those differences. At least 15 people have died and more than 30 are still in hospital after this anti-Semitic attack that was carried out by a father-son duo, Sajid and Navid Akram. I want to go across to the Israeli ambassador to India. Mr. Reuben Azar is now joining us. Ambassador Azar, thank you very much. First of all, our condolences to all the families of the victims, those who died and those who are still battling for life in hospital. Your first thoughts on these dramatic scenes that we saw at the Bondi beach last afternoon. The whole world is in shock as to what has happened. I mean, do you see this as part of a rising trend of anti-Semitic attacks that we're seeing, in Europe, in America, and now, sadly, in Australia?
Absolutely, Zaka. This is a terrible attack. People were going with their families to the beach to celebrate the Festival of Lights. It's a savage attack, no doubt. And unfortunately, we've been seeing a rise in anti-Semitic attacks in Australia in the last couple of years. I just saw a figure from the Jewish community stating 1,770 attacks only in 2024. We've been urging the Australian government to deal with this. Unfortunately, it seems there weren't enough forces to protect the Jewish community in Bondi Beach, and there was an underperformance of the police officers who were there. We are cooperating with the authorities there in investigating. It was published that the Mossad is cooperating with the Australian government to try to to investigate exactly what happened, what are the sources of this instigation of the attack.
What do you attribute this rising anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic attacks that we're seeing? We saw this in college campuses in America. We saw this in Paris earlier. Now we're seeing this in Australia. There's also one view, and this is the counter view, that this is in response to what's going on in Gaza. How do you view that?
Well, we've been trying in our dialogue with many governments to make the point that there is a huge difference between criticizing the state of Israel and the government of Israel and calling for eradication of the state of Israel and the eradication of Jews. And this is what has been happening in many Western capitals, including in Australia. So we have to differentiate between freedom of speech and hate speech, between freedom of speech and incitement to violence. This attack is a result of that incitement. There is, I think, an obligation by all governments to deal with this more seriously. We've been telling that the Australian government. Unfortunately, we don't feel that our call to curb those phenomena were seriously taken.
There's also a political sort of context to this. There's been a back and forth between the two prime ministers. Albanese has said that the decision by Australia to recognize a separate independent Palestinian state has nothing to do with rising anti-Semitism. Prime Minister Netanyahu differs on that. How does the Israeli government view this? Because Australia is not the only country that's done that. Many Western countries of late, in the last 3 or 4 months, Canada has done, Britain has done. They've all moved to recognize an independent Palestinian state, and they're saying it has nothing to do with rising anti-Semitism, but your view is different. Why?
Yes, absolutely. Look, they might have an intention, but the reality is that all those sectors of the society, mainly within the Muslim community, that hate Jews, that are anti-Semitic, that want to eradicate the state of Israel, that supported the 7th of October, saw in this recognition a sign that actually they are on the right track, that if the 7th of October wouldn't have happened, this recognition wouldn't have happened. So they link the recognition with the 7th of October. which the government might say there's no connection, but in practice there is a connection, and we have to face that reality.
Ambassador, the two accused, one of whom is dead, the other is in hospital, they've probably never even been to Gaza. They're clearly not from, that part of the world. What is it then that motivates them to do something like this, to kill Jewish people who they have nothing to do with and who are just there celebrating the Hanukkah in a very peaceful way? What is this global jihad that seems to have spawned off because of what's going on in Gaza? I mean, there's simply no justification for this.
Absolutely. There's no justification for terror anywhere. But what we have been seeing here is a global phenomenon in which jihadi views, and this is, by the way, not only connected to the Jewish people, it's connected also to intolerance towards other religions. There are radical elements that have been radicalized more with foreign state sponsorship. You have governments like the Islamic Republic of Iran, like Qatari Al Jazeera, like TRT, and other outlets, including a lot of money that is going to support this kind of narrative of globalizing the Intifada that is, concentrated in Generation C. We've seen that radicalization going up, and we've seen too little action by governments to curb it. You cannot put this atrocious attack under the umbrella of Gaza or criticizing Israel. This is something that is much bigger, much larger, and there are state actors that are backing it.
I just want to get one final word. So you're saying basically that this strand that connects the terrorists who attack innocent victims in Pahalgam or now in the Bondi beach, it's all being sort of fueled by inimical other state actors who want a rise in anti-Semitism or anti-Hindu sentiment, whether it's in India or whether it's in Australia. Is that your contention?
It's anti-Christian as well. It's anti-other minorities. Take a look at the Druze minority in Syria. Correct. And how minorities are being eradicated all across the Middle East by jihadi forces. So this is something that we have to fight against, because the meaning of not confronting it is more terror attacks. So it's action on different levels, the political level, the counterterrorism level, but also in the domain of public diplomacy and of social media.
So you're saying the counter to this can only come from the people. When the people say that, this is unacceptable. In a civilized society, you cannot be going around shooting down people just because you have a political point of view that differs from them.
It's not just the public. I think it's the responsibility of governments and international organizations that haven't been done enough.
Okay, Ambassador Azhar, thank you very much for joining us. I know you're joining us from Israel, so thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to us here on CNN News.
Yeah, by the way, we are going to welcome Foreign Minister Jaishankar. We're going to hold very important deliberations, and we're welcoming him to see how to adopt a plan for the continuation of our cooperation in 2026.
All right, Ambassador Azhar, thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
From the Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi till about 10 a.m. this morning.
It's a chilly morning here in the national capital this Monday. As you can see behind me, the extent of the fog, in this case, smog, has really enveloped the entire national capital region. Now we are here at the Akshardham flyover, where we can see that the visibility has really come down. Now, according to the India Meteorological Department, the visibility has gone down to 50 meters, both at Palam as well as Safdarjung. Now, if you remember, over the last 3 days, the air quality in the national capital has really plummeted. Now, on 13th December, it crossed the 400 mark. Now, AQI index anywhere between 400 to 450 falls into the severe category. But yesterday, it also crossed the 450 mark of severe plus. Now, according to the Central Pollution Control Board, the daily AQI index for Delhi was recorded at 466, which falls into the severe plus category. It was equally worse in Noida, where it was 468. Now, the residents of Delhi are definitely breathing extremely toxic air, which is high in particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM 10. There are toxic gases here, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxides, and other particulate matter, which is making it difficult to breathe.
So what does it actually mean in real terms when the air quality index crosses 100? That is the equivalent of having 2 cigarettes a day. Even if you're a non-smoker, it is actually having the effect that you're smoking 2 cigarettes a day. If the AQI is above 200, then your lungs basically take a hit of 7 cigarettes a day. It's almost like smoking a pack of cigarettes an entire day if the AQI is above 200. If it is above 400, it's literally like smoking 2 full packets and a little more of cigarettes, 23 cigarettes per day. That's the impact that it has on your lungs. In fact, over the last few days, the impact of the AQI above 400, that's what it's been in the national capital over these last few days, as a result of which GRAP 4 has been instituted. If it's above 650, it's like smoking 34 cigarettes or 3 packets a day. And if it's above 850, then it's literally like killing yourself. It is 4 packets of cigarettes, 43 cigarettes a day. You don't really need to smoke to destroy your lungs in Delhi this season. Just breathing this toxic air is bad enough. So it's a grey skyline. The traffic was barely visible. In fact, like I said, the airport was completely jammed out. Not a single flight took off till about 10 a.m. or so. Even the Prime Minister's takeoff had to be delayed by an hour because of the bad fog and smog. But could this have been avoided? Now, right now, Delhi is under GRAP 4. I'll get to what GRAP 4 means in 1 second, but clearly, they could have better prepared for this. GRAP stages 1 and 2 could have been identified earlier, and these measures could have come into place much earlier. Action was needed when the air turned poor, which is above 150, and when it turned very poor, which was above 250, not after it became a health emergency when it crossed 400, and therefore GRAP 4 had to be instituted. Construction dust, that is the single biggest reason for why Delhi is so polluted. Construction happens throughout the year. Construction dust was left unchecked. Strict monitoring is required at
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
from the Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi till about 10 a.m. this morning.
It's a chilly morning here in the national capital this Monday. As you can see behind me, the extent of the fog, in this case, smog, has really enveloped the entire national capital region. Now, we are here at the Akshardham flyover where we can see that the visibility has really come down. Now, according to the India Meteorological Department, the visibility has gone down to 50 meters, both at Palam as well as Safdarjung. Now, if you remember, over the last 3 days, the air quality in the national capital has really plummeted. Now, on 13th December, it crossed the 400 mark. Now, AQI index anywhere between 400 to 450 falls into the severe category. But yesterday, it also crossed the 450 mark of severe plus. Now, according to the Central Pollution Control Board, the daily AQI index for Delhi was recorded at 466, which falls into the severe plus category. It was equally worse in Noida, where it was 468. Now, the residents of Delhi are definitely breathing extremely toxic air, which is high in particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM 10. There are toxic gases here, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxides, and other particulate matter, which is making it difficult to breathe.
So what does it actually mean in real terms when the air quality index crosses 100? That is the equivalent of having 2 cigarettes a day. Even if you're a non-smoker, it is actually having the effect that you're smoking 2 cigarettes a day. If the AQI is above 200, then your lungs basically take a hit of 7 cigarettes a day. It's almost like smoking a pack of cigarettes an entire day if the AQI is above 200. If it is above 400, it's literally like smoking 2 full packets and a little more of cigarettes, 23 cigarettes per day. That's the impact that it has on your lungs. In fact, Over the last few days, the impact of the AQI above 400, that's what it's been in the national capital over these last few days, as a result of which GRAP 4 has been instituted. If it's above 650, it's like smoking 34 cigarettes or 3 packets a day. And if it's above 850, then it's literally like killing yourself. It is 4 packets of cigarettes, 43 cigarettes a day. You don't really need to smoke to destroy your lungs in Delhi this season. Just breathing.
Viewers, let's begin with some plain speak. They need absolutely zero provocation, zero encouragement.